guys, Sachin here, and this is the P30 Pro from Huawei. Is that how you pronounce the company's name? Yes, that's pretty much how you pronounce it. Now I'm pretty sure most of the people have been pronouncing this name as Huawei. That's not how you do it. You pronounce Huawei. That H is a bit silent here. Now when you talk about phones, obviously you need to think of the company. Most people think of Samsung as their primary one. Others might think of Apple, and some might even think of Google. Huawei has been doing pretty well for the last 4 years, but the P30 Pro catches my attention really good, and this is really a game changer. So let's find out what this is all about. Huawei has done something unique with the cameras this time, and let's check that out. Now first things first, when you look at it, you'll notice that it exactly looks like the S9 on the front because it has got the curves like what we see with the Samsung phones. From the back, yes, it's glass, as just like most of the smartphones these days because it's pretty obvious. You can't have wireless charging feature because it simply wouldn't work through the metal. But gosh, that color. Now that's something unique. This color is called Aurora by Huawei, and it's pretty much a gradient from a sort of cyan green to a deep blue. Yeah, these gradients make it a bit more unique. Huawei P30 Pro comes in 5 color options, that is black, pearl white, aurora, amber sunrise, and breathing crystal. Huawei chose to have an aluminum frame which goes around the device. It's polished, so it looks really shiny and reflective. Up at the front is a gorgeous 6.47-inch display. You're looking at an organic LED display which has a resolution of 1080 by 2340 with a pixel density of approximately 398 ppi. It is also DCI-P3 compliant with a wider color gamut. It also supports HDR10. It has a small notch for the camera, but once you start using it, won't be a problem at all. The bottom has a bit of a chin. It's definitely not one of the best designs like what we see with the S10 or the iPhone XS, which doesn't have a bottom chin at all. But yeah, that's pretty much close to what we get here. Again, this kind of reminds me about the display from the S10 or even the S9. Now contained within that display is an in-screen optical fingerprint scanner. Now it's called optical because it requires a very bright light that is shined to your finger in order to read it. And it's pretty much evident here. You can clearly see the display shining a sort of green spot source. Now in contrast, the traditional scanner does not require any light. Instead, capacitors use electrical current for the same. Timing-wise, the optical scanners are a bit slow than the capacitive ones, but I would say it is in its early stages. Give it some time and then they will eventually get faster. Talking about speed, this guy's rocking an octa-core Kirin 980, which is of 7nm process, with Mali 676 MP10 GPU, 8 gigs of RAM, and 128 gigs of onboard storage for the baseline. Now in real world, it's quite fast. Gaming on this phone definitely rocks. The GPU holds up pretty well. On the Geekbench, we got a single core score of 2871 and a multi-core score of 5807. In 3D Mark, we got an overall score of 4002. On the Antutu benchmark, we got an overall score of 172,848. Apart from all of these scores, the P30 Pro is fast for a regular use. It's not only fast, but it's very efficient because of that 7nm processor. Now, do you know who else is efficient here? Yep, the battery. This guy is rocking a 4200 mAh lithium polymer battery, which is pretty sweet. The battery life here is more interesting. This guy rocks a solid 2.5 to 3 days of juice under regular use. At first when I heard this, I was like, no way that this is true. But in real world testing, it turns out to me that it's a pretty reliable battery when it comes to regular use. Now once the battery is fully charged, you won't even need to worry about charging for almost 2 days. This also supports fast charging in a way that it goes from 0 to 70% in just about 30 to 45 minutes. This phone also supports power bank functionality, meaning that it's capable of charging any other phone that supports wireless charging. Yes, it's just like the S10. Now next is the part that you all have been probably waiting to hear, and that's the camera. The entire optics on this one is powered by Leica. The P30 Pro is rocking a 40 megapixel wide-angle lens with an aperture of f1.6, coupled with a 20 megapixel ultra-wide lens with an aperture of f2.2. There's also an 8 megapixel telephoto lens, also called periscope lens, offering an aperture of f3.4 and 5 times optical zoom with a 50-time impressive digital zoom. No, that's not it. There's a fourth lens called the time of flight camera. So the number of cameras on this thing is, well, 4. Now that's a lot of lenses. From paper to real world, the photos look darn professional. These sensors capture a lot of detail. When it comes to color and saturation, these sensors have a class of their own. The colors look extremely vivid and warm and have a nice dynamic range. This is not a source of Samsung style that likes to oversaturate things. It is close to what we take with a DSLR camera. Now as for low light, these cameras really are a game changer. Huawei put something which is called the night mode. When turned on, takes amazing shots, which is extremely weird. Now what's really weird is that in a pitch dark situation where there is no light at all, it takes decent shots, which again blew my mind. These lenses are also capable of recording 4K video at 30 frames per second. Now there's a lot of hype going around that periscope camera, the main feature being that 50 times zoom functionality. Yeah, it looks pretty great on the ads. And yeah, it is quite true that this feature really sets the P30 Pro apart from the major flagships such as the Samsung Galaxy S10 and even the iPhone XS. Here's a sample image that had been taken by the P30 camera. You can see the picture gives us a sneak peek of the moon, but then the quality gets a little off. But by all means, that doesn't mean that it's a very bad shot. So yeah, rear camera system is the best one that I have ever seen, period. A great shout out to Huawei. And finally, on the front, we have a 32 megapixel shooter capable of recording 1080p video at 30 frames per second. So long story short, if you're that person who has camera on the top of the phone features list, yes, the P30 Pro is definitely the way to go. The baseline P30 Pro starts from 999 euros and it can go all the way up to 1,249 euros for the maxed out 512 gigs of storage. The RAM is also upgradable from 6 gigs to 8 gigs. Again, the pricing displayed here is in euros. Now these pricings may vary from country to country, so check out your local electronic or carrier store for more info. So in conclusion, the P30 Pro is easily the best phone with almost no compromises. For the price you pay in terms of the camera, I would definitely tell you to get one if you're really into photography. With a great design and an impressive battery life, the P30 Pro definitely is worth that price tag if you're really into photography. So let me know what you think about the P30 Pro and the color that you would prefer in the comments down below. Aside from that, hope you guys liked watching this video, and if you did and if you're feeling like being awesome, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to turn on the notifications by clicking that bell icon next to the subscribe button. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do for me in this video. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. This is Sachin, and I'll catch you guys the next one. Peace.